back to Sarah's SoCal Garden. So in this video is going to be the monthly garden tour. So instead of doing a long intro, I'll just go ahead and start the tour because there's so many things that I want to show you guys. Stay tuned. Alright you guys, so I have a camera assistant. It's my sister and her nephew. So, her son, which is my nephew. He's looking at me right now. So I'll just start with the back cottage garden. So right here I have these super pretty daylilies that they just started to bloom. They're absolutely gorgeous. They smell really good. More about to bloom right here, but I'll be in Hawaii, so unfortunately I'm going to be missing that. We're going to come back here, and sorry if it's dark, it's really overcast today. So here in these containers I have zucchini, squash. They're doing really well. I only have 2 per pot, that's plenty of room. And then I have strawberries that are doing really well. It's a little baby one there. There's another one. And then these are just some pots I'm gonna have ready for peppers and things like that. They're just ready to go when the plants are big enough. And then over here in this area, I have strawberries. I put squash right here in this bed. It's doing really well. That's zucchini and butternut squash and things like that. And then more strawberry plants. That is Swiss chard back there. I need to put a net over that though because the birds seem to be eating it. Yes. And then over here is some tomatoes. I have over 100 tomato plants in my garden right now. And then here is the, what is it? This is the collard green. So this is doing really well. No sign of any pest. It's doing great. It's growing into a tree almost. And then over here, down here are peppers. I have some pepper pots, I think these are jalapenos. Yeah. And they're growing slow. It's been really cold here lately, unfortunately. More Swiss chard. This is the variety Fort Hook Giant. And then I have more tomatoes. I got 3 here in one container. This is a variety Rainbow. Rainbow, green zebra, and I think this is a rainbow too. Yeah, rainbow. Brandywine, this is a Brandywine tomato heirloom variety. And then back here in this area I have beans over here in the corner. And then more tomatoes, lots of tomatoes. Kale, that's pretty much hanging in there. It's doing good. I've just been trimming it lately. This is the Jacinto kale. Lots of tomatoes, kale. This kale too, it's doing really well. And then coming around here, I have another tomato plant. This is the Gardener's Delight variety. More tomatoes, kale. I'm gonna pan the camera around so you guys can see just how much stuff there actually is. And then here in my whiskey barrel, I have parsnips, which I'm just letting these grow so I'll probably enter these into the fair. But they're getting nice and big. And then hidden in here, I don't know if you guys can see, I have 2 tomato plants in here. You can see this one right here. It's getting really big actually. And they're doing really well in this container. I do see some pest damage, probably a caterpillar or a bird or something. But the birds are eating the caterpillars, so I shouldn't have too much of a pest problem. Mint, which probably need to trim that back. Cucumbers, these are the lemon cucumbers. They need to go in the ground. They need some fertilizer. I think coming back here along the back wall, I'm out of rainwater. No more rainwater. It's not going to be raining for a very long time. All of my tomato seedlings over here. More tomato seedlings. I have tomatoes down here in pots. I'll leave a list down below in the description for all the list of tomatoes I'm growing. This is just some brassica, some type of brassica. I don't even remember. It might have been broccoli that went to seed. I just leave it for the bees, and so I can collect the seed. And then in here I have my zucchini plants, which are doing really well. If you want to get in a little closer, if you can see that zucchini right there, it's doing really well. More kale, still nice, healthy, and strong. These are 3-gallon containers. I put 2 tomatoes per plant. Here comes Curly, he's just investigating. So I have this bed right here is just jam-packed with, it's jam-packed with zucchinis. You can see in here, it's just full with zucchini, flowers and blossoms, and they're doing exactly what they're supposed to. And then in the back, it's kind of like a jungle. This is eggplant right here. So the eggplant's doing really good. It looks like it's attacked by a little bit of spider mites. But other than that, and one of my favorite parts of my garden right now is the Indigo Sun tomato. I love how this tomato is looking. If you want to get a little closer, this beautiful cluster. So what happens is the tomato starts off like this, and then it gets even more purple, and then it starts turning yellow at the bottom. If you guys can see that. So this one's actually ripe. I'm gonna try it. Actually, it's ripe, so I'm gonna try it on camera. See that? It's a beautiful color. This is the variety Indigo Sun. So this is the first tomato from my garden. I'm gonna try it. Just rub it off. Wow. That was really good. I think there's another one ready. And that other one? No, not quite. So anyways, look at how big this tomato plant is. I probably should top it off, because when you top it off, then all these other clusters will be able to grow. They'll have more time. More energy will be put into these. So I'll probably top that off. Anyways, so coming in here, I don't know if you guys can see, things are just starting to become a jungle. I have basil right here in the back. This is the pink Berkeley tie-dye tomato right here. And then coming around, this is a Brandywine. This is I think this is a pineapple, I'm not sure. More tomatoes everywhere. This is a kale I grew from seed. It's doing really, really well. More tomatoes. And then in my greenhouse, I have serrano chilies, basil. These are habaneros. Tomato plants, like as if I didn't have enough tomato plants, I have more seedlings. Watermelon. And this is where I'm keeping all of my chilies and all of my peppers, because they need a lot of heat. So I am keeping them in the greenhouse. Looks like there's some pest damage there. More tomatoes. Look at all these little seedlings that pop up from my compost. I just take those out. Alright. Okay, so these two beds are my vertical growing squash beds, and I've been able to successfully grow some of the plants up. It takes the plants to get really long in order for it to reach this, so that's okay, that's fine. Most of the plants, they're pretty small right now. But like for example, this one right here that's really long, I could start putting it up on the trellis, and so from there it's gonna just grow up this. And I have all kinds of squash varieties in here. I have spaghetti squash, butternut squash, I have pumpkins in here. I have all kinds of things, and I can tell which ones are the pumpkins if the leaves are a little bit more round, like this one. This is probably a pumpkin because it's a little bit more, the leaf is a little bit more round, as this one's a butternut. You can tell it's more triangle. I was almost going to take my cabbages out of the ground, but as you can see, they're doing great. So what's going to happen now is they're just going to start closing in on each other and forming a cabbage head. These are my Brussels sprouts, which are doing great. I'm really happy with those. Maybe I'll enter those into the fair. More cabbages, squash all the way around. More kale, red. This is the red Russian kale variety. Like some aphids on there. As soon as you see the aphids, you want to squish them right away. These yellowing leaves, I just like to take them off the plants right away. They're not doing anything for the plant. Are you checking out the plants? Let's see what else. I have all kinds of more tomatoes in here. This is a new addition to the garden. It's really cool. We got this from Costco, wholesale warehouse. If you're not familiar with Costco, it's an American warehouse, wholesale products. They sell garden things, and this is really cool because when the wind picks up, it does that. So it adds a nice little touch to the garden. So anyways, coming back here, I have lots of kale. So many more tomatoes, it's just, it's crazy. And then I have Brussels sprouts right here. They're doing great. More tomatoes, raspberries, which the raspberries are doing great. And then I added actually a new hummingbird feeder to the garden, and the hummingbirds are loving it. I've been posting videos on my Instagram, so go ahead and follow me on Instagram so you guys can check those videos out. So the garden is looking very lush right now. Alright you guys, so now I'm here on my side garden on the side of my house, and I'm really impressed actually by how everything's doing. I have my first cucumber that's ready, and I'm actually going to harvest it for you guys. So the cucumber, you're not going to be able to see it, but you'll see it after I harvest it. There it is. It fell right off. Look at It's really funny shape, but you know, it's fine for my first one. This is the first of the season, so we're gonna be getting more. Look at this giant Swiss chard leaf. If I were to enter this in the fair, it would definitely win for biggest chard. These are giant, because I added a lot of compost to this bed, so the cucumbers are really liking it, and this gets at least 8 hours of sun all day. So anyways, over here in this first bed, I have lots of tomatoes. This is mainly a tomato bed, and squash underneath. You can't even see the squash, but there are, right over here on this side, there's zucchini down there. And then I have kale, tomatoes, just tomatoes everywhere. And I plant my tomatoes pretty close. There seems to not be any problems. We don't really have any fungus issues with tomatoes here in not at least in my area in Southern California. I know some places get blight and stuff, but I've never had blight. Fingers crossed. So yeah, very excited for all these tomatoes. My blueberries, I've been harvesting blueberries almost every single day. They're really good, really sweet. I got a lot of blueberries this year, which I'm really excited about because blueberries are super expensive. This whole bed here is all tomatoes. I have rainbow tomatoes, green zebra tomatoes. They're doing really, really well. They're just super green, and you can smell it smells like a tomato plant. And then in between, I have squash. They're hiding in the bottom behind this cabbage. There's a squash plant there, little baby squash plants. I have to try to protect them from the slugs and the snails, because the snails like this particular bed for some reason. And then down here I have little baby cucumber plants that they look like they're doing okay. And then this is my cucamelon, which is also known as a Mexican gherkin cucumber, the little baby watermelons that are doing really well. Armenian cucumber plants right here. Cabbages, that's a Napa cabbage. Or, I'm sorry, the Savoy cabbage. So I have 3 Savoy cabbages left in this bed. They're taking up quite a lot of space, but they're gonna start forming their heads really soon, so I'm just gonna leave them. And then back here, I have, right in front of the blueberries, sage. This is the lamb's ear sage, which feels like a lamb's ear, and it looks like a lamb's ear, that's why they call it that. And this is a great sage to have in the garden. I'm just gonna check for slugs because I am going out of town, and they love to hide back here. I don't see anything. So coming on over here on the third bed, I do have cucumbers. This is all filled with cucumbers. I think I have a mix of variety. I think this is the $5 garden cucumber, I'm pretty sure. But they're doing really well. I see there's a little one right here. There's just a little tiny one. Little baby one right there. Should be getting pollinated. There's a hummingbird. Oh, just flew away. I need to fill that hummingbird feeder up. This bean variety right here is the, this is a volunteer Scarlet Emperor bean. I didn't even plant that. That just came up from last year's beans. I really like how that looks. And then these greens right here, these are all beet tops. So these are the Chioggia beets that are there in the bottom. I have some really pretty purple kale that's doing fantastic. It's not even bolting yet, so I'm excited about that. And then over here I have more squash. I just tucked some squash, just one squash plant back here. I think this is the delicata squash. Tomatoes, I just thought I'd squeeze some more tomato plants in here, and it's working out really well. They like it because these beds get at least 8 hours of sun every day, so they seem to be liking that. And then coming over here, I have lots of different types of beans. Not only the Scarlet Emperor, but I planted these purple hyacinth beans. Those purple leaves right there, those are purple hyacinth beans. And I don't see any flowers on them yet. And then in between, oh, there's a slug. There we go. That's what we don't want. So I just chuck it to the birds. And I actually saw a caterpillar. Here it is. Here it is. See that caterpillar? That. Let's flick it to the birds. That's why it's always good to check in and around your plants, because that's where the little critters like to hide, and then you're wondering why your things are being eaten, and it's because they're hiding in these areas, these shady areas. So these are also cowpeas. This bean right here, that's a cowpea, which is a pole. It'll grow vertically, which is exactly what I want. And then in between here on the edge of the bed, I have onions. These are red onions. They're bulking up pretty nicely. And then nasturtiums. This is like my favorite color, and then nasturtium. It's beautiful. It's like this pretty peach color. They're great. So I'm just gonna toss this slug. Alright, so coming back here, I have this really pretty lavender. Bees love that. And then over here I have some volunteer. I have some kale that I've had for years. It's doing okay. I just leave it. Volunteer tomato plants. And then this right here is a geranium. This is the geranium. The lemon. It has like a lemony scent to the geranium. Looking for food. I'll fill it up right now. It's asking me, where's the food at? So anyways, this geranium, what you can do, I like this one in particular because what you do is you rub your arms on that, and the mosquitoes don't like the scent. So that's what that's there for. And then back here it's really filled out. I got marjoram right here. It's going to flower. So I'll cut that back and just save these flowers and dry them out. This is dill seed, which is really nice. You can see the seed heads are forming on that one. And then back here, I'm super excited. I'm gonna enter this one into the Orange County Fair. Look at the cabbage. Yay! You guys can't hear that, but it's really hard in there. It's really cool. And then back there is just some kohlrabi in the very back. So I have 3 cabbages in here. Once these are ready to harvest, I'll have more room to put peppers and tomatoes. Another cabbage. This blue heirloom curly kale is fantastic. It's the trunk size on that is so healthy. It's not even close to bolting. I think this is gonna last me all the way till next winter, which is great. Then I have the usual dino kale. It's doing really good. Sage, that's going to flower, but the hummingbirds really like these flowers, so I just leave it for them. And then I have, I'm starting to put tomatoes into this bed, but also leaving the borage for the bees. As you can see, the bees really like the borage still. So I am leaving it in there for them because I don't want to completely take it out because it's still blooming quite a lot, and those flowers taste like watermelon. It's awesome. So I just have Brandywine tomatoes in here. Yeah, same tomato variety. Lots of borage. And then over here in the back is the butterfly and bee garden, which the bees are actually really liking it. So I think I chose my plants well. And then this is my sunflower area, which I'm gonna have to start staking these sunflowers up. I have the Mammoth variety sunflower and then another variety of sunflower, but let me get in here. You guys can see there's this sunflower head. Looks like it's done, but these are so pretty when they're in bloom. And all I do is when they're completely done, I cut it off and I put it on the floor because then the birds will eat the seeds. And that's okay, that's fine. So down here in this bed, I got, I think I overplanted just a little bit, but half this stuff is gonna go vertical. But let me just get down in here and show you guys. This is squash, so lots and lots of squash plants. This is the scallop squash, which is also known as the white patty pan squash. And then I also have zucchini in here, which there's already a little tiny baby zucchini growing. More squash. It's crazy. I think I even have pumpkins. I think some of these plants are pumpkin plants, I'm not sure. I have wildflowers down in there, yarrow over here, fennel. There's some fennel right here. You can see the little bulbs forming. And then in the back right here, this is cantaloupe and watermelon. So the goal is to grow these vertically. They already have blossoms on them, which that's totally fine. All I need to do now is the taller they get, they're not that quite tall yet, but when they're taller, I can start training them up this trellis. That is about it for this garden tour. This was kind of recorded a little different, so let me know if you guys like this garden tour. I am not going to be uploading for a little while because I'm going to be in Hawaii for the next week. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And yeah, thank you guys all for watching, and let me know what you guys are growing in your garden. Thank you all for watching, and happy gardening. Bye.